What's going on, by? This is the Street 3 here, back to brand new video. More March Madness recap. Round of 32, day 2, round 32 is complete. We now have our Sweet 16 teams go ahead and get into these games and see who won, who lost, any major upsets. Yes, indeed, as you can see in the middle of the screen. First off, we got 7 seed Miami, Florida, and 2 seed Purdue. Miami, Florida coming off one of its best seasons in program history. Over the previous 2 seasons, they had total of 22 wins combined. This year, they had 26 wins in 1 year, one of their best years ever under first-year head coach Jay Lucas. So they are swinging in the right momentum, and I'm excited to see what he does in Miami, Florida, see if they become competitive in the ACC for many years to come. They're playing Purdue. It's a pretty good team. And they've come up short. Purdue wins by 10 points. This was a pretty much tooth and nail game where Miami was doing its best to keep it close, but just could not get enough plays going their way to close that gap in the end and take the victory. Purdue holds them off and wins by 10 points. Let's see. See, Purdue shot very well from 3, 57%, almost 60% from 3. I will say this: they're doing very good on offense and getting a lot of open 3-point shots, a lot of them. Meanwhile, Miami shot under 30%. Miami only shot 10 free throws, while Purdue shot 22 free throws. However, Miami did out-rebound them. 7 on turnovers. Only 9 fouls throughout the entire game. That's pretty good. Braden Smith, their star player, although he did not have a great shooting night, he had 8 assists and was running the offense very effectively. Got a 4 out of 4 3-point shooter in Lawyer and a 3 out of 4 3-point shooter for Cox. It's hard to beat when you got people nailing it from deep frequently. So they got Purdue on a great shooting night. Otherwise, Miami might have won. 7 seed Kentucky versus Iowa State. This was an absolute blowout. I believe at one point, with 1:30 left to go, Kentucky was up by 7 points. And then Iowa State went on a 37-15 run, and all of a sudden it's a 20-point game and it's a blowout. Let's go ahead and check out exactly why. Remember, Iowa State was losing its best player this game, and they still blew out Kentucky Wildcats. Neither team shooting that well from 3-point range. Your team shooting that well from free throw at 70% is okay, but you can definitely do better. Rebounding about the same. Let's look at turnovers. 20 turnovers. That is the most, I believe, in Kentucky Wildcat history within March Madness. They had 20 turnovers to 7. They played their worst game, perhaps maybe all year, when it mattered most in March Madness. They have not had a great year. Kentucky definitely has had probably one of their worst years in a long time under head coach Mark Pope. He is definitely in the hot seat. If he doesn't fix it next year, he might be out of a job pretty quickly here, because Kentucky is the blue blood of all blue bloods, and they demand success. And this was not, while they made the tournament, this was not a successful year by standards whatsoever. Look at these two guys. They had a great game. 26 points and 20 points. Lipsy is their guard. He has taken over. He is a great guard. 10 assists and 26 points is really impressive. I mean, 4 of their 5 starters scored 10 points. It's hard to beat a team when their starters are playing that well. And really, they only played 16 minutes and 9 minutes. Only really played one guy off the bench. But Iowa State is a hawk-nosed team when it comes to defense. They're a great defensive team, and it's no surprise to me that they caused Kentucky to get that many turnovers. I personally didn't think this game was going to be close either. I think that Kentucky winning that first round game against Santa Clara was a fluke. They really should have lost. They just got a lucky shot to go in. But yeah, St. John's beats Kansas on a game-winning layup. 67-65. I thought this game was a bit closer than I expected. I thought that Kansas didn't have what it takes to beat St. John's. I think St. John's is a much better team overall. But Kansas played surprisingly well, and St. John's gets that last second bucket to close it out. Your team shooting that well from 3-point range, only 5 of 14. But look how much St. John's they put up. Over half more 3-point shots, therefore made more threes. Kansas was doing a lot better at field goal range. Free throws also not too good for either team. Kansas out rebounded them. They got 16 turnovers. Hard to win a game when you have 16 turnovers, unless they're Duke. They had like 17 and they won by 20. That guy shot up 6 of 9 for 3-point range. That's really, really impressive. He had a great game. 0 of 4, 0 of 4 though. 2 of 7, 0 of 3, 1 of 5. So you can see here for St. John's, this is not something that we see a lot in March Madness in these big name teams, is they have bench depth. They have 1, 2, 3 dudes off the bench averaging more than 10 minutes. That honestly, this year from what I've seen, is kind of rare. Like most teams have maybe 7 players, even 6 players that are in the main rotation. But Kansas cannot get it done. And they are out. Tennessee continues to surprise people. A lot of people thought that Tennessee was going to get upset early. They had beaten Virginia 79-72. But this one, Tennessee, honestly, this Tennessee has hurt my bracket pretty bad. I had them losing the first round. They now are in the Sweet 16. 42% from 3 is pretty darn good. Free throws 25-6. And Tennessee is one of those very tough teams to play defensively. They're going to foul the shit out of you, and they're going to play you tough, and they're going to make you earn your points. But they win. Here's our big first upset. The first 1 seed to go down is Florida, the defending national championship. Funny enough, you look at the spread. More often than not, the defending national champion goes down early. I believe UConn was the first team in the last 9 years to win back-to-back and to get out of the second round as the defending national championship. And the very next year, they went out in the first round or the second round. So it's very, very uncommon for a defending national championship to make another run. And once again, it's been proven right. Iowa pulls off the huge upset against one of the best teams in the nation. Cool thing about Iowa. So all of their players, their entire starting 5, and one of their bench players are all mid-major and non-Division I players. Remember, this head coach came from I believe it's Division II or Division III school that was very, very dominant. He then took the job at Drake, a very, very small Division I mid-major. All of his players followed him. They then lost, I think, 2 games last year maybe, and had a great March Madness run. And were very, very impressive. Then he took the Iowa job. Again, all his players joined him. So 4 of their 5 players are non-Division I players, and then he has one guy from Robert Morris, who's a very, very small Division I mid-major, and they just beat Florida, who has the tallest team in the nation and all these big-time 4 and 5 and 3-star recruits, and they just beat them. That's unreal. Your team shooting 2 up from 3, both shooting at a 50% clip from field goal range. That's very, very good. Same rebounds, same amount of turnovers. This, from what I saw, was a bloodbath the whole game, and Iowa hits I believe it was a late 3 to take the lead, and then Florida missed the last second shot. Major upset here. I actually got this in one of my brackets. I think Iowa is one of the most underrated teams in the nation. Remember, a lot of these players were in a lower division where they won a lot. So they're used to winning, and they know how to win, even if they're not in Division One competition. If a player can play, they can play no matter who they're playing. It's college. This isn't the NBA yet. Iowa pulled off an awesome upset. Kudos to them. Great coach, great players. Who knows how far they could take this? Are they a Final Four team? Maybe so. Utah State and Arizona. Arizona gets the win, 78-66. They've been dominant so far. UCLA and UConn. I thought this game would be a potential upset. I thought UCLA would keep this close. Either they keep it close and maybe they pull off a win, or they don't, and they didn't. UConn wins 73-57, and a very good win for UConn. 19 of 21 free throws. That is insanely impressive. Hard to do nowadays. Outrunning them by over 10. 16 turnovers, though. They got to clean that up. But UConn had a great game. Caravan had 27 points, 4 of 8. That guy was 0 of 5 from 3. Yikes. But UConn, a very impressive victory over a tough UCLA team. Texas Tech and Alabama. This one is a shocker. I really thought Texas Tech was going to win this game, even with JT Toppin out for the regular season. But Alabama torches them 90-65. And I can guarantee you why. Let's check out 3-pointers. Yep, they almost shot 50% clip. 19 out of 42. They made 19 3-pointers. Texas Tech made 4. They were 16%. So they had a horrible shooting night. Again, you have one bad shooting night and it's over. Your March Madness run is over. Look at those free throws though. 19 out of 24, 11 out of 15. Got Alba rebounded. 0 of 5, 2 of 5, 1 of 7, 1 of 4. They had a really bad shooting night and it cost them dearly. They got blown out by almost 30 points as a 5 seed and a 4 seed. Again, last time we saw Alabama shoot lights out was when Mark Spears was playing. They made a Final Four Elite 8 run. Are they about to have another one? However, let's see what we got. Sweet 16, though. Let's go down here. They're not going to play Michigan. So, is a deep run out of the equation? No. But they got to have another game like that where they shot about 50% clip and they got to catch Michigan on a bad game. Maybe either they're shooting horrible or they got big players getting in foul trouble or a lot of turnovers or all three at once for a chance to win. I'm not saying it's not impossible because we just saw Florida lose to Iowa. Down here we got Tennessee and Iowa State. Again, Tennessee has surprised many people. They could do it again, but I think Iowa State might run them out of the stadium. Iowa State is a really good team. I think they're the best team in this Midwest area of the bracket. I think they're better than Michigan. I really do. Let's go on over here to the left here, the South. Iowa, after pulling off the upset, will face Nebraska. Again, Nebraska has never won a March Madness game in its school history, despite being Power 5 school. Now, they are a football school, historically. Again, they have sucked at football since the 90s. They've sucked at every sport since the 90s, except for maybe women's volleyball, but no one cares about women's sports. And then they win too. They beat Troy, and they beat Vandy on a last second shot. So they're having a tremendous season. Arguably, probably the greatest season in their basketball history. And they're playing 9 seed Iowa. I gotta agree with you. I'm gonna take Iowa on this game. I think Iowa is our Cinderella deep March team, besides Texas over here. I think it's Iowa and Texas are going to be our big time Cinderella quote unquote teams. Now, they are still not mid majors. People think that you have to be a mid major to be Cinderella. No, you have to be a low seed. I'm thinking like 8 or lower. I would wager is a Cinderella team. You got Illinois and Houston. I'm very excited for this game. These are both really, really impressive teams. Illinois is a lights-out offensive team, and Houston is a lockdown defensive teams. Let's see which one prevails, offense or defense. Normally, defense wins, so I'm going to take Houston here. Iowa and Houston would be a great Elite Eight. Could Iowa be a Final Four team this year? Could we have 9th seed Iowa with all mid-major and non-Division I players making it to the Final Four this year? That would be incredible, and I'm all for it. So let's say Iowa and Iowa State, 2 teams from Iowa make the Final Four. That would be also really impressive. Iowa has never ever been a basketball state. Let's go up to the West. Arizona and Arkansas. Arkansas has, in my opinion, not only the best guard in the country, but the player of the year in Atkov Jr. He's putting up 26, 25, 30 points per game. And he's not even in the conversation for player of the year. I just don't understand. I think it's because he's at Arkansas. Arkansas is not a blue blood, and so they don't get as much attention on ESPN and news media. But he, in my opinion, is the best player. I think he's better than AJ Diasabono. Had a better year than him. I think he's had a better year than Darren Peterson. I think he's had an even better year than Cameron Boozer. If he can guide Arkansas to pull off this upset and make a Final Four run, I think that will help his chances of being the player of the year. But they are playing Arizona. I think you have the 2 best teams left in the tournament here at Duke and Arizona. And right now, Arizona's looking better than Duke. Arizona's looking like the best team in the nation right now. So Arkansas has its hands full, but they can do it. I really do believe they can do it, but we'll see what happens. Texas and Purdue. Again, Purdue was one of those teams I thought was going to lose early. And then Texas, I've correctly predicted their upset victories. We've got 2 in a row now. We're a first 4 team now in the Sweet 16. Can they pull off one more and get to the Elite 8? I think they can. I think they got to play great defense, sound defense, and they got to make some shots. They got to have a good shooting night, which they have some great offensive players. They got to show up and play well. Imagine seeing 4 seed Arkansas and 11 seed Texas in an Elite 8 game. Now that would be awesome, because those schools historically hate each other in football. Hate each other. That would be a great game to watch. Remember, I used to live in Arkansas, so it would be awesome to see that game and text my buddies from Arkansas. That would be awesome. Going on to the East region, which is, in my opinion, the strongest region, despite having the one overall seed. Like, look at this: Duke, St. John's, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan State, UCLA, UConn. These are all really, really tough teams. Duke and St. John's. A battle of a new coach who's been in the program for 3 or 4 years. Learned under the legend Coach K, and then Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino is the first coach ever to make it to the Sweet 16 in 5 different decades. That's impressive. Did it at Providence, did it at UK, did it at Louisville twice, and now at St. John's. Playing number 1 seed Duke. Now, last game against TCU, Duke had 17 turnovers, which is the most it's had maybe all year. However, they did get Gumba back. He probably will play more minutes this game. St. John's, though, is a very good defensive team that makes you turn it over. If St. John's can make Duke turn it over, they have a chance. If they don't, Duke will win. Because, again, that combo of getting Gumba back and Boozer down below is really hard to beat. Because they pound it down low. Even if you don't let them score, you might foul them. And then they're going to go to the free throw line. Again, they also really need to count Duke out on a bad shooting. They need to have Isaiah Evans not shoot it too well, or their other guards not shoot it too well. But I think this is going to be a down to the wire, beautiful, beautiful masterclass game of new coach, new young blood versus the old school coaches, suit and tie. I can't wait for this game. In my opinion, I think whoever wins this game is in the Final Four. Michigan State and UConn. This game is also going to be an absolute bloodbath down to the wire. I can't wait to see this game. Tom Izzo versus Dan Hurley. A stoic coach versus a in-your-face, quote-unquote, dickhead coach. This will be UConn's toughest test by far. I personally would love to see Michigan State win and Duke play, because when Michigan State and Duke play in the tournament, it is always arguably the best game in the tournament. But look at this slate right here compared to everything else is insane. These are going to be some great games here. And that's it for our Sweet 16. Getting closer and closer to that Final Four in Indianapolis. Leave a like, enjoy the video, comment down below how your bracket is doing. My bracket is actually doing really, really well. I correctly predicted Texas to make a run. This side of my bracket is perfect. I have not missed one game on this side of the bracket. In this game, I got that game wrong, and in this game wrong. So almost perfect over here. Down here, I've got only this game wrong. However, on one bracket, I did pick Iowa. So over here is my bad bracket. I've got that one wrong, that one wrong, that one wrong, that one wrong, that one wrong. The Midwest has screwed me, but overall, I've had a great year in terms of my bracket. But comment down below how your bracket is doing. Have you been busted, or are you like me and you predicted some good upsets? Either way, I really appreciate all love and support. Love March Madness is the best sporting event in the entire world. I'll see you guys next time. This is Z3 signing out. Stay frosty, y'all.